Good, bad, let's see. So yeah, good omens. I kind of know this because I kind of knew about several things about this spoiler wise. So I know about certain things about the ending. I know certain tricks that they have. I know certain like things are like, oh, this happens. There are some stuff that is still entertaining, and full transparency, sometimes I accidentally watch season two before reviewing season one. I've done this before. I've said this before. So I do have a bit of season two on my mind because I haven't seen it. I'm going to talk about it, but that is coming up eventually. But with season one, this is fun. So I'm going to be honest. There's these two actors, and that's most of the show. You do have other people, other characters, which I think is really good. But I think the idea of these two. So for me, obviously, I don't know this actor. I don't think I've seen him in other works, but he is really good at doing this. Yes, very naive, like angelic, like, oh, that'd be good, that'd be nice. Very nice, overly kind, overly, and I think it's really fun. And I like him playing against because for me, David Tennant, I've seen him in two things, and I have seen him do this like sarcastic role because again, I've reviewed this before of sort of this, which is Jessica Jones season one, where he is Kilgrave in this. That is like when the grander universe. He did that before this, so he has had like other stuff where he's playing a little bit more. But the first one that I saw him played, which is David Tennant as the Doctor, the Doctor Who, and I think it's really sort of like interesting to like see him like change a bit. But I think I saw like there's a thing with Matt Smith in it, and I think that's really interesting. And again, the first thing I think I really saw him in is also um, Doctor Who as the Doctor. But it's just really interesting to see that. So I'm going to talk about certain things, how they come up in the story. Some of these aren't really spoilers, but I didn't want to say it in that because I feel like that's interesting in a later. Ah, my microphone. Anyway, so the first major thing that I didn't see coming, because a lot of the times I don't watch the trailers for these things. Sorry, I'm just putting up my microphone. Okay, there we go. There we go. I don't really watch the trailers for a couple of these things. I see a show, I look at the name, I look at the thing, I'm like, yes or no. If it's somewhat interesting, the name, maybe I'll take the trailer if I'm somewhat interested, maybe no, maybe yes. But if it's a show that sounds really good and sounds fun to watch, I don't. Like one of the things that I'm going to review soon that I did watch the trailer for is Million Followers Detective or something like that. And I was like, don't know how this is gonna go. Sounds insane, bro. So I'm gonna maybe watch the trailer. If it sounds like a fun time, or other people like I know a lot of people talked about Good Omens is a good thing, so they didn't really watch the trailer. So one of the major things about this, which I don't know if it's in the trailer or not, is the sinful, like the baby who's sin. I think that's not spoilers because it's in episode one and it's kind of the Antichrist is just immediately from. So, but the one thing which I did like is that, oh shoot, we got the wrong one. This is meant to be the Antichrist, but he's not. It's actually this kid, and I find it hilarious. I was like, oh shoot, we got the wrong kid. And the whole season is sort of trying to find this one kid. It doesn't help that the original organization that did like the sort of like church with like the nuns who do the demon. The entire thing was burnt and flown to the winds, and trying to find that document is harder. I also like the slow introductions of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. I am going to point out one of them's a bit changed. You do still have, if I'm correct, disease, war, and death. Famine, however, is not there. It's pollution, which I would say makes more sense because disease, I would also like to point out is kind of like death's kind of everything. War, there's death, but it's kind of four things that causes a big thing to collapse and cause a sort of destruction to the planet. So would famine and disease be kind of interchangeable? War, having people not trust each other. Death, well, okay, self-explanatory. Famine is kind of people starving and losing food. Disease, which I think is in this, is someone sort of like getting ill and unwell and unable to produce substance for the body or not having the body work properly. So I'm fine with it. I'm fully okay with it. I just wanted to point that out because it's a fun idea that they change it. With the last thing that I love is that there's a whole thing of like, yes, I'm going evil, and the friend's like, no, we don't want the world to end. That's why we are here to change it, and I love it. I love the idea of like. I also one of the things where I like, which is early on, is you have this hell beast, this dog of hellish nature, and it's like what would you call the dog? Dog. So you have this huge. I think you somewhat like CD with like a big sharp teeth, and then it cuts to being like, I'll call him dog, and then it's like a conversation, and then you come back to him, and it's like just a normal dog, and it's like. So I think that was changing. This is fun, but again, one of the major things is one at the end of this, there's a whole thing of I'm going to be I'm going to be told off by my dad, my actual dad, because his dad is obviously Satan. But it doesn't matter who your biological dad is. Sometimes who raised you is more important. So he's like, "You're not my dad. You aren't here." And then the actual dad comes, and I think that is clever. It's basically a way that's like, yeah, I'm not doing the end of the world. It's like, yeah, but that's your job. You're the Antichrist for war. It's like, yeah, no, I don't feel like it. Which I think is fun and just insane. But yeah, I do love this. I think this is so fun and so creative. Definitely when it comes to these two interacting with each other. One person who's nice and kind, and one person who is very sarcastic and witty. Oh, I'm not going to redo this to put that in, but the other thing that I did forget is these two do a thing. They both get taken to heaven and hell and have a thing where it's like, oh, you now have to like have best punishment, etc., etc. The demon goes in holy water, the angel goes in hellfire, which is meant to harm the other one, which I think is interesting. But it doesn't. It's really interesting. And I think that a lot of this is like choose what face you show is shows off really ending with these two swapping places. They literally like just swapped bodies and being like da da like he became him and he became him. And I think that's clever. I'm like, oh, that's how they pulled that off. But again, because it's so fun and so creative, I just find it amazing. So yeah, tomorrow's going to be a bit weird, but we've got the test. I am going to point out this because on the Patreon, it is the test games. All three of the ones I play. Because realistically, I don't have much difference to say between the two. But because I played on specific times with specific things in mind, I'm just going to do it like that. So overall, that's the idea. It's going to be fun. And I've got all the images. I'm not going to show them all now because I'm not transferring it from my iPad to my phone. But I do have the images that I can send over. But I do hope you enjoy and good night.